Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing a very hot topic. Every time I get added, discussed about this, talked about on stream, this is my video on cheating on Apex Legends and cheating in general in the FPS genre. All right. Now this is going to be definitely more, you could call it ranty. I'm going to have my solutions here. I might sound more upset or passionate about the subject, so I apologize about that. I am moving in real time, moving left, moving right. That's the whole premise of this. This is the Final Fantasy event, by the way, and I think this ends here today. And that's where, yeah, this is going to go away. And so perfect timing and ending on this. But this is going to be a big subject. This is what we're going to discuss today. We're going to discuss what is cheating, my thought process on it, providing solutions. They're going to be very harsh, my solutions, by the way. And I probably sound harsh in tone, because this is something I don't take lightly, okay? The cheating in general. I'm going to talk about the negative impact that it has to gaming. And just for context, when we get eliminated in game, I'm just going to let the round play out, because there are a lot of things I do want to talk about this in general here. Actually, I'm going to swap to that. That's fine. Now, we're also going to talk about the solves for being inclusive, because I know that a lot of these things that we're going to talk about, the idea is that they are inclusive in nature. Now, we're going to discuss the banning of Cronus and Zems. We're going to talk about banning Rewasd. We're going to talk about banning the config, third-party software that is being pushed by companies. That is really, really sad to kind of see. Company stances, our society stance, cheater-made discords that have been talked about and going viral as well, the apps that I see you guys providing to me, and my harsh solution and why I think it should be a crime. We're going to talk about that. Now, again, I know that is, you could call that a hot take, but it's just how I feel about it. Now, let's start with a very big one here, is what is cheating? I believe, in my opinion, cheating is giving you an assistance in something that you can't physically do without assistance from a third-party software or an outside source, something that you can't physically do with your own human hands. That is my own take on it. Now, there is the discussion after the fact as well that becomes a problem of, well, let's say you are an individual who is using these things because you are physically unable to. And this is where the problem lies, because most people who the softwares or hardware are intended for ended up abusing them. And that's not good. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The negative impact that this makes on the gaming scene and everything that we do is egregious. I think that when you come home, anybody comes home from school, work, or even if you're trying to do this as a job, trying to become a pro or anything, it is harder to become a pro when nobody knows who's cheating and who's not. I think that's the harshest reality that we're running into. That's just essentially one, right? I like how this is kind of turned into the start of just looting. Kind of helps me get all these thoughts out here, by the way. Now, when we talk about inclusive, my solution, by the way, for solving this is that players are able to find a way to register themselves if they happen to be using a software or hardware because they can't do it. And because it brings them in so they can be included into gaming. I think gaming is for everybody, okay? That is my stance, that it should be for everybody. I think that what makes it really sad are those that abuse it and are making it harder for those that are using it for an inclusive nature, and I find that absolutely disgusting. Anybody who is using any cheating, any Zim, anything like that, that stuff is not designed for the average consumer or person. That is for somebody who is trying to game because they feel left out. That is my own stance on it. I think that is horrible and disgusting. That's why I think Zims and Chronuses by the average consumer, such as Fortnite and Warzone, should be banned. It should be. So I'm going to overlay it here. Apparently you can get them even if you're going just to your GameStop. You can get these things. They are so easily accessible apparently. And I found that really, really sad and depressing. I know that Fortnite bans them, Warzone banned them. My solution is that they should be able to be picked up on Apex Legends, and they should also be banned as well. No ifs, ands, or buts. Now, if your account, like I said, is whitelisted by Steam or Xbox because you're using it for X, Y, and Z other purposes, I think that would be fine. I know that becomes an issue in terms of privacy and stuff like that. I don't know another solution besides having you feel safer when you're gaming and not getting banned, because you're trying to be inclusive, right? Now, the next one is banning of Zims too. It's flat out the same problem as the Cronus. It should be banned. It's not acceptable. I don't see in any world that it should be okay that you're using that. The next one, banning REWASD. I saw this recently in the screenshot here. People were saying that it's ableist, which most of the people who are using it and abusing it, this is why I say anybody who's using and abusing it is hurting other individuals, which is why I find it so disgusting and wrong, right? So I'm taking a hard stance on it. I'm giving you my biggest opinion on it, for better, for worse, because that's just how I feel about it. And I think when we're approaching this 2024, I hope that companies, society has a major mindset shift in how they approach these situations. Now, config. I flat out think that Respawn should ban it. They should lock it down at this point. I'm willing to sacrifice the ability to put in fine, detailed settings at the sacrifice of, wow, the lobby just got essentially eliminated. We've been looting this whole time. I mean, I know it's World's Edge, but it gives me a chance for the commentary to kind of run around and I guess feel like we're talking with each other. But this round's gonna end really fast. Just craft it. Dude, I got so much crafting too. Okay, let's get back. Banning the config. Straight up just ban it, okay? I don't know what else to say besides just banning the config. And the reason why is that it's being abused. Here's a YouTube video here that somebody has been able to use scripts as well. Scripts, anything like that on Steam should just be blocked being used on Apex Legends. Any macros, because people are abusing it by remapping in a negative way. And Respawn should enable those things in-game within reason, such as giving controllers the ability to remap so they can tap strafe properly, or remapping a certain button so it feels a little more comfortable. Not so it can't be abused like a macro, but in terms of just simple remapping. Simplicity in remapping, I think, is really, really important. I think will help immensely. What we're doing right now makes sense, crafting up our armors, because I mean we haven't fought anything, so the only way we're gonna win is by crafting up armors. Hard lock it. I'm willing to sacrifice it. I know some people also change their FOV to 120. I don't think that necessarily is a bad thing because it's doesn't hurt. Having a higher FOV means targets look smaller, and having a lower FOV means that targets look bigger. There's a downside and a plus side. So I don't necessarily have that big of an issue with that because it's, I mean, you know, it's a little bit quote unquote more balanced in a sense. But even then, just lock down the config. Lock it down. Don't allow people to use it. Right? So on screen, I've been sharing some of the things that as we're moving around, my stances on it, as well as what I've been seeing. Oh, we have zone. Just realized that. This is a really odd, I mean, everyone goes fragment and dies, so that's just kind of how it works. Now, any third-party hardware, here's one that's crazy, and we're going to segue to company stances here in a second, okay? That I think is really important. There is a monitor that apparently when you play League of Legends that actually pings and is made by MSI, which I'm disappointed in this company for doing that kind of crap, essentially, where what it does is that it pings on the mini map. If they're on your mini map, then it pings on your screen of where they're located, which listen, that could be easily abused. That's if it's on the mini map, sure, you could see the information's already available and already there, but still, listen, it's a slippery slope of what we're allowing here. It becomes messy. It's like the macros that are provided on certain software by company. We get it was to make life in gaming easier, but it's easily abused while in game, and then the floodgates open of what's allowed. It's crazy. So companies need to make a hard stance. Let me go ahead and say this: GameStop that sells Cronus and Zems, I haven't shopped at that company in a really long time, but the fact that they sell those there, is like, why would I ever support anything like that? You know, why support MSI when they're going to make crap like that? You know, or anything. Like, companies just need to have a harder stance and realize that this software is not designed for the majority. It's designed for those that don't have the ability to game, and that's the whole purpose of them, right? Not for somebody just to gain a hardcore advantage and cheat because they can't do it themselves. If you can't do it with human hands, it's cheating. It's cheating, ladies and gentlemen. There's no other way to put it. It's wrong. It's unfair. If you're trying to gain that advantage instead of cheating through actual progression, it's cheating. All right. This is where society stands. We all need to agree that this isn't fair. Like, it's not fair if you're putting in time and people are trying to get better at games just as much as somebody was cheating in sports and using a steroid. Okay, I'm going to use the extreme example. I'm going to give a lot of context on what I mean by this here in a second. But there's also cheater-made discords where cheaters are supporting each other, boosting each other. This was also controversial in Apex Legends. People in those discords, if they're actually cheater discords, deserve to be banned. And also the sentencing of bans. The fact that they're temporary and they can come back is also rough. We're going to talk about that in a second here. Now, I know that you guys have been all adding me, and I know this has been a subject that has been brought up, and I can't just keep making videos on the subject and talking about it over and over and over again, because it kind of, you know, it beats down the subject, and then just, it becomes white noise, which is why I don't cover it all the time. Once I've said my piece, that's kind of my piece. This is kind of why I'm making this video now. It's why I'm wishing, when I look back at this video at the end of the year, I really want to pray that something has changed for the better. That's my overall wish. Oh, they ping somebody over there. I think we should just go for the ship over here. Might as well. If we're gonna play sweaty, I might as well just play sweaty. I don't really know what else to say. It kind of helps because like we're sitting here. This is a really tough subject in general. So let me talk about my harsh solution, and we'll talk about all these other things, right? Because again, cheating is gaining that advantage by means, and I'm gonna constantly repeat it, that you physically can't do, and so you know that you can't, so you're gonna find the advantage in a different way to skip progress, to skip momentum. And so this is my harsh stance, okay? This is my, you can call it hot take, but I've thought about it many times. I've said it on stream. I'm very consistent in my messaging, and I'll say the same thing over and over again. I guess we'll dance for a little bit. Do the worm, do the worm, do the worm, do the worm, do the worm. That's crazy. I didn't know he did the worm. All right, a harsh stance. All right. Is that cheating disrupts our time and flow whenever gaming. You shouldn't have to have an hour of your time wasted. And by the way, cheating isn't necessarily new in Apex Legends. I remember when I was constantly harassed by cheaters on even Battlefield, and they would just stream snipe for hours on end. That is ruining your time, your experience, and things that you are trying to do. If it's impacting your time negatively like this, then there should be repercussions for it, right? Steroids are an example. Those are a performance enhancer, right? And they are illegal to use unless you have a prescription. There's a reason for it, and they get prescribed by a doctor, right? If you have steroids by any other means, it is illegal to have them. Now, I'm sure this changes depending on the country, but my understanding is that if you have those, that is illegal. It's like having Adderall. You can't have Adderall because it's flat out, it's illegal. There are people who need that, and it's the same thing. Like my stance on those that do need it, that this hardware, software, to feel included, to be inclusive. Okay, I can have this understanding and get it, right? But these things aren't intended for you. Adderall's not intended for daily users to run around and try to be cracked at gaming. Now, what are you gonna, the counter argument? Well then, will doctor will prescribe it? No doctor's gonna prescribe an aimbot or a cheater or like Adderall to you just because, right? And that's my essential stance on why it's so important that we have this harsh take. And I think if you have these things, then they should have repercussions. Your account gets fined, Respawn, Steam, Valve, any company, it doesn't matter. You know, I was just kind of listing the same thing across the board there, but anybody should be able to take some sort of action against you by punishing your account or having it listed because you cheated. Just as much if you use steroids or anything in person, or if you were at school using steroids and your head became large and people were like, wait a minute, he's using steroids, then that also just would become a flat out problem, right? And there are repercussions for it. I mean, maybe you get kicked out of school, you know, but there has to be major repercussions. And the problem when it comes to free-to-play games like this is that there are no repercussions and people are doing it. Now, the negative stance is that it makes channels where you're improving, it makes aim training less valuable, because then why would you go to the gym when you can just roid up? Why would you try to aim train and improve when you could just use a Zim? Why practice recoil for thousands of hours like I have when you could just cheat? Why do any of these things when you can just cheat? I mean, it's why we play video games, guys. We play video games because we're trying to have a good time and we're trying to vibe, right? Not because we want to cheat. I don't understand. I mean, I know everybody wants to win, and I can't even justify why anybody would want those things, right? I think this person's by themselves over here. I think this is probably the quietest round of Apex I have ever played. And I know it's because I didn't drop in World's Edge, but you know, moving up. I'm going. Even if I die, it's fine.
Engaging.
Already inside the ring.
Amping shields.
Okay. There's another team. All right, well, that's it. So I'm sorry again for those who are regular viewers. This is my wish list. ban all these things. Take a harsher stance. Respawn, take a harsher stance. Companies across the board, whether you're selling this hardware, putting in your stores, please take a harsher stance on all of these things. You know, permanently hardware ban them, permanently get them out of the game. Cheating is something that can be redeemed because maybe I can't justify why it would be okay. Okay, there is none. There's no justifying it, guys. And anybody who's cheated, I don't think anybody realistically can. And it's why I have this harsh take, okay? Let's see if I can get this condo. Are they gonna res? Oh my gosh, we're pumping off. Are we about to win?
There's another squad attacking. Reloading. One moment.
I know there's another team. This foot is like right there.
Reloading.
Now I'm distracted, I'm sorry. Oh, I'll just blast through it. That's my harsh stance on this, guys. I know videos like this, I don't need to explain myself and how I feel about all of this stuff. But you guys have been adding me, and I feel really bad when people run into cheating. And none of you guys deserve to run into a cheater. And you should be rewarded for the good play that you have. Okay? And it's incredibly disappointing the fact that this is happening. And that it has, like, we're in 2024 and cheating has only gotten worse. I see videos, like, I guess I'll overlay this last one, where AI is trying to fight cheating. And it's just, it's crazy. I just don't have a whole lot of sympathy for any of all this, you know? Did they push me? Oh gosh. I should have rezzed. Okay, we got it. We won. Well, that's a way to win. All right. Well, that was one of the slowest games of Apex Legends, but at least we're able to get all these topics out. I appreciate all of you guys for watching. GG's, by the way. GG's, guys. Actually recording a video. This is actually posted. But good game, guys. Yeah, say hi to YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. I'm posting a video on my complaints on cheating and said Daz. It's just Daz. I'll post it within the hour. I'm just kind of just not only complaining about YouTube or cheaters, but yeah, it's my stance. But I'm gonna do outro. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. These guys were my teammates. We won. GG's. See you guys all in the next one.